Hey, how's it going today? We're going to build this knife block, about a 2x6, the slots. I'm going to give you a walkthrough of a little bit smaller diameter than this one. So we'll start off, get you a piece of 3/4, 6 by 6 foot cheap wood, whatever you prefer. Go ahead, we'll square up the one end, and then we'll make our additional cuts. All right, so now we need 4 boards total. 2 of them at 10 inches and 2 of them at 12. They don't have to be that precise, because we'll fix it up when we get a little bit closer toward the end. We got our 2 10s, now we get our 2 12s. We got that. We're going to miter all 4 corners at a 45. So the first one we just go ahead and miter. And then for our 12-inch piece that we're cutting, first from long end to long end, we're going to go 11 3/4 total. First one, 11 3/4, the long and the long end. Do the next 12-inch one the same way. And then for the 10-inch boards that we cut, we're going to cut them down to 9 inches long in the long end. we got all our pieces laid out. Our two 9 inches and our two 11 and 3/4 inches. We'll glue the edges. Alright, and then get yourself 4 clamps, at least 12 inches of depth. And glue these together. And clamp them down. You can use a pin nailer if you'd like. In this project, I'm going to use dowel pins through the top, going down, and then we'll flush cut them off later. So when you clamp it down, just give it a gentle squeeze on them to hold it just enough together right now. So you get all 4 clamps on them. Or you get the other 2 after this. And then go ahead and wipe off the excess glue that oozed out. We'll be sanding it too, so we'll get the last of it then. And if you like, check for squareness, make sure you're good. All right, now your box's glue should be all set up. Take your clamps off. Get yourself a drill bit for 1/4 inch dowel pins. They're about 1 1/8 long. I put a stopper. You can use a piece of blue tape at 3/4 of an inch depth. We'll put 2 in each corner. Alright, so we got the depth set, and we'll flush cut them off. So we'll add a little bit of glue to all of them. Wipe off the excess around the pins, dowel pins. Alright, while we wait for the glue to dry up, what we're going to do with a 6-inch, well 5 3/4 inch board here, we can put 3 rows in or just 2 rows in, depends on how many knives you have. So from the one side we'll come 1 inch over for 2 rows, and then we'll come 4 inches over. Put a mark on there. And then if you want 3 rows, come over 1.5 inches, 3.5, and 2.5. Sorry about that. So 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 will give you 3 rows. We'll put them kind of close together. Leaves you a little bit on each side. 2 rows on the outside. What that for is, once we cut the pins off and the glue dries, we're going to put slits all the way down on each row. That's where our knife's going to go. And then we'll come back and I'll show you a little bit more. Alright, now that the glue's dried up a little bit, we'll just use a flush cut saw, cut the pins out. Alright, we're all done. So the lines we made earlier. So if you want 2 rows or 3 rows, so we'll mark this out for 2. We already made the mark, just follow them down. So So we got 1.5 coming in one side, 1 inch coming from the other. We can balance it out if you want to make it more even. It is up to you. So next we're going to take the table saw out. We're going to cut this all the way through. We'll set the blade to just 1/16 past the height of this. So let's go ahead and bring the table saw up. Alright, so I did change the lines on the side to make it equal, so 1.25 in each way. So now I like to move the fence. So I set the blade center of 1.25 inch, and the height is at 7/8. So we'll go ahead and make our cuts. So now we got our 2 cuts all the way down. So now the saw, our knives can fit in there, just like so. We are going to add biscuit joints to all 4 corners to fill in the lines on each side. Go ahead and grab 4 biscuits, number 10. Go ahead and add some glue. We'll tap them in there. Tap them in, make sure they get in all the way to the bottom on each side, so we don't have no unsightly eyesores there. Go ahead now and clean up all the excess. Less sanding we got to do then. And while that's drying, you could always come back to the inside corners with a regular head screwdriver. And you can peel out the excess glue that dried up that you couldn't wipe earlier when you clamped it. Don't push too hard so you don't mar up the wood. Alright, now that our joints have been dried up, go ahead and flush cut them off. Alright, next step, I'm going to put a 1/2 inch beat groove with the plunge router in there. To make putting the knives in a little bit easier than just straight. So we'll have that nice groove. So I got the plunge router all set up for 1 1/8 inch over to get it in the center. So I stopped right at the biscuit joints at all corners. Nice little decorative look. So at this point, now we'll just get out. You have a choice. You can route the edges, or you can just leave them square and we can sand it. I'm going to go ahead and do a round over all the way on the outside. Alright, now I got the router set with a 1/2 inch round over bit. I'm going to run it on a test piece to make sure the edges are the way I like it. So I got it just the way I prefer it. You can have it a couple different ways. You can not do it or do a different bit. So now we're just going to go all the way around the outside of the whole box. Now that I got all that done, your choice. You can do the inside if you'd like. I'm going to leave this one square. Next step is we're going to sand it all down. Alright, get the palm sander. I got fresh 220 grit sandpaper. I like it nice and smooth. You can use 150 if you'd like. Go ahead and this point where you can just watch or jump forward to see more of the finished product. We'll grab another piece of 220 and just get it down in the slots. Just to get any burrs out of there. All right. And for the next step, we'll oil it. All right, I just got some cut board oil, food grade mineral oil. Go ahead and add some oil on this and wipe it all down. And there we go, we got it all oiled up, ready to go. Now you can see your knives. Nice little look in the kitchen, huh? This was just a prototype build, just to make sure I can get all the dimensions correct. So was the other one. Upcoming, I'm gonna build that again. I'm gonna use this Purple Heart wood. 3/4 inch thick, 5 inches wide. And I'll use about the same dimensions as this. Thank you for watching.